Hi. Let's get fucking messy today. Yeah. I am going to go over all of my bookish hot takes. There will probably be some controversial opinions. Yes. And I will say them with my full chest. This isn't me reacting to any of your guys' bookish hot takes. This is me saying all of mine. I'm exposing myself. One thing about me, I'm a very opinionated person, right? So I have something to say about usually everything. Most of the time, I keep it to myself. Okay, I know there's a time and place for everything, right? But these are some fun ones that I just wanted to talk about today, and hopefully if you share any of the same bookish hot takes, we can talk about it. This first hot take that I have is specifically about the romance genre. The epilogue with Marriage and Babies, I don't care. I don't care. Truly, I don't care. Once those two are together, what happens after that, not my business. It's not my business. It's not for me to know. Their story's done. It's over. I'm moving on. And I'm sick and tired of the epilogues with Marriage and Babies. There are other ways to end books. Unless the epilogue is one of them dying or them breaking up, then I'm here for that drama. Then I'm here for that. Other than that, don't care. Don't care. They're together already. We got what we wanted. Okay. The next bookish hot take that I have is something personal to me. Okay, I think this is one that a lot of people will not agree and a lot of people will think is very controversial. And I completely understand that. It's a very superficial and shallow bookish hot take. And that is that I will not read a book if I don't like the font that it's written in. And you can't tell me, okay, that you would read a 300-page book if it was written in Comic Sans. You can't. You can't tell me that. Sometimes for me, if I personally do not like a font, it will get distracting. There have been times where I don't like the text in the physical book because the font is just not happening for me, and I will pick up either the ebook or the audiobook because I just cannot stand looking at the physical book any longer. And I get, again, this is a very vain, a very shallow bookish hot take. And you know, I've read books where there's a page on the back and it's all about the type of font that's used in the book. So you know what? Maybe it's not as shallow and superficial as I think it is. I think it might be a bigger deal, but for me, there are certain fonts that I can't do. I don't really necessarily care about the size of the font, but the actual physical shape of the font itself. If I don't like it, I will not read that book. That's it. That's my hot take on that one. Okay, another bookish hot take is that I cannot fucking stand it. And I usually will not read a book if the author does not use quotation marks. Sorry to say, I am looking at you, Sally Rooney, although she is not the only author that does this. I just know that she is one of the more well-known authors that does this. What is up with that? What is that? I understand that it's an artistic and stylistic choice for the author to make, but why are we making that decision? Yeah, I'm someone that needs quotation marks in dialogue, and that's not because I don't read the big paragraphs, but I do get confused when I'm reading because I don't know who the fuck is saying what. I don't know if what they're saying is something that they're saying out loud or if it's something that they're thinking. I completely understand that that's some author's journey. Reading that book though, not the journey for me, babe. Simply not the journey for me. Does that mean that I will never read a book if there are no quotation marks? No, absolutely not. But am I actively choosing to read books without quotation marks? No, I'm not. Okay, my next bookish hot take, which I don't even think is really a hot take at this point. I think we're all collectively feeling the same way. But that is that I used to love sprayed edges. I used to appreciate sprayed edges. And now whenever I see a book with sprayed edges, I kind of want to vomit. And what pisses me off about it is that it's not even done well. Why are there paint smudges on the edge of the cover? Why are they only one color, one horrifyingly neon color on the side? And what gags me the most is that books are coming out as first editions with sprayed edges. That I don't understand. I don't want a first edition with sprayed edges. Save that for later when it's, you know, a special edition with a bonus scene or like the 15th anniversary of that book, whatever. Go fucking crazy. But the first edition, that pisses me off. There have been some books that I want to buy and annotate, but I know the tabs are gonna look fucking crazy with a sprayed edge. And that's, again, another shallow, superficial thing for me. But I just don't understand the appeal of spraying every edge of every fucking book. I just want a regular fucking book when I go to the bookstore. I think we've gotten very greedy with these cash grabs because the publishers know if people love these specific authors or these stories, they're going to spend more money on this book, on a really pretty edition of it, and they're taking advantage of that. And it's getting fucking ridiculous. Truly, it's getting out of hand. It's getting completely out of hand. And I'm kind of over it. I like I said, at the sight of a sprayed edge, I don't even want to buy the book. It actually deters me from buying a book when it has a sprayed edge. Why do these fiction books need sprayed edges? I don't okay, anyway, we're moving on. Sprayed edges, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. This next hot take is again geared more towards romance books, only because I've only really seen these in romance books. I've never really seen this type of thing in other genres, but if it does happen in other genres, I feel exactly the same. And that is that I don't give a flying fuck about the playlists. Not in my life have I ever once looked at a playlist, listened to the music, and thought, yeah, this captures the vibes of this book 100% perfectly. And the thing about it is I'm not going to be listening to this music while I'm reading the book, because I can't even listen to music with lyrics when I'm reading a book. So I don't care for playlists. I don't really see the point of them, to be honest. And my favorite romance authors do this. They have playlists at the beginning of every one of their books. I don't personally understand it because I don't really know what it adds to it, except for, I guess, the ambiance of the book. I get that they're trying to make it be sort of like a soundtrack to the book, but I don't care for it. And also, if you look at some of these playlists, a lot of these authors do not listen to diverse genres or artists of music, okay? They listen to the same shit all the time. They are not listening to a wide range of variety of music. I'm gonna let you sit with that. Okay, I'm going to be exposing myself here. Especially because I am a huge fantasy reader. You guys know fantasy is my favorite genre to read. I do not look nor really care for maps in the beginning of fantasy books. Okay, I wouldn't say I don't look, but like I look at it and I'm like, all right, and I'll move on. And I will never refer back to that map. I will never look back at it. I hardly care for the maps. And I think it's because, for me, authors do, in fantasy at least, authors do a really great job at describing the world and being really detailed with their world building. So I can pretty much imagine everything in my head. And I don't really need to refer too much to a map, because if the author's not describing the layout of everything in the world building, the characters are literally telling us where they're going. We're going north up to this city. We're going south over to this city. We're crossing the river to the east. I kind of don't need the map. Like, I don't know. Yeah, maps have just never really been that important for me. Although I think that, to come up with a unique world that doesn't exist and to create an entire map of it is truly talent. And I'm not trying to discredit maps at all, because I know a lot of people refer to them, a lot of people need them, and a lot of people use them. And I do appreciate the maps. That's not it. It's just I don't really particularly really refer to them. If there weren't maps at the beginning of the fantasy book that I read, it really wouldn't affect my reading experience. It wouldn't really matter to me. Not too big on the maps, no. All right, the next bookish hot take that I have, again, I think collectively we are all starting to feel this way, but I'm sick and tired of books being marketed as adult when they are really YA or new adult, and they read like YA or new adult books. I need you guys to get it together. All right, I need you to market these books at the right age demographic. I have DNF'd 2 books already this year, 2 fantasy books this year, because I went in thinking that they were adult books, and they are marketed as adult fantasy books, okay? And when these books are published, they're in the fantasy section of bookstores, which are the adult fantasy shelves. I DNF'd both of them because I felt like I was in the mind of a fucking 16-year-old. I don't know what that's about, but they are like, is it only considered adult because there's one spicy scene in it? Is that all that it takes to market a book as adult now? What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? If you're going to market this book as an adult fantasy, I want grown fucking adults, okay? I don't want to read about a 19-year-old with a hero complex who crumbles at the first sign of confrontation against someone who has an opposing worldview as them and call it adult. What are we doing? And this 19-year-old is supposed to save the fucking world? Really? We're gonna allow the person who can't even buy alcohol or rent a car to save the world? I just think we need to stop marketing these books as adult when these adults are acting like children and teenagers.
Hi, jump scare. I'm so sorry about my current appearance, but I'm actually editing this video right now. And it's obvious that I'm going off about fantasy books, right? But I do also want to mention, because I was not in a clear state of mind, obviously, it's not just in fantasy I'm noticing this. And I also don't want to completely put the blame on marketing as well, because I've noticed it in fiction books and heavily in romance books as well, that authors are writing these older characters with the mindset of teenagers. Like, these older characters that are in their 30s, 40s are acting, thinking, and talking like they're 19. And the decisions that they're making, the way that they talk to each other, like their actual conversations and dialogue, all sound like things teenagers or very young adults would say, like 19 to maybe 22. And I just wanted to clarify that I feel this strongly about this particular hot take in all books, not just fantasy. It's just because I had just read these fantasy books and DNF'd them for this reason, that's why I'm kind of going on a tangent, and because it's so clear in my mind having just read them. But I still notice it in other books that we have mature older characters that are acting very juvenile and have immature thoughts and immature actions that don't align with their age and the emotional maturity they're supposed to have at that age. It's not just fantasy, it's fiction and romance and other genres as well. So yeah, I just wanted to clarify that. But I still feel very strongly about it. I still feel exactly the same. I'm over it.
I'm sick of these books calling themselves adult books, and they're not. They're not. Yeah, that's that. Okay, my next hot take. You know what else I'm fucking sick and tired of? The copy and paste titles of these books. It's like a blank of blank and blank of blank and blank. And also in romance, when authors are using puns in the titles of their romance books, let's be serious, please. There are a billion different combinations of words that you could put together to make a title of a book. And that's what we're choosing. We're going to choose a bad pun or a copy and paste version of every other title out there. And another thing too, when authors are using lyrics as their book titles and also trends as their book titles. I saw a romance book called I'm Looking for a Man in Finance. What are we doing? Who allowed that to happen? Okay. This whole video is just me getting fucking heated, you guys. Like, talk about hot take. I'm getting hot. But what are you even talking about? I'm looking for a... And then the endless amounts of Taylor Swift lyrics used as book titles. And I know she's not the only artist with lyrics that authors are choosing to do book titles with, but why are we even doing that at all? Because again, any of the billions of combinations of words that you could make and it's that, I feel like we need to come up with more original things. Okay, the next hot take. If I see one more book marketed using only tropes, I'm actually going to crash out. Because you know what? Putting the tropes in the marketing of the book, that completely spoils everything. I don't want to know that the enemies are going to turn into lovers. I want to experience the enemies turning into lovers. I don't want to know who's the grumpy and the sunshine. I want to figure out through their actions and their inner thoughts who's the grumpy and who's the sunshine. I don't want to know that she's secretly in love and having an affair with her brother's best friend. Let me find out organically. Let me be shocked. let that be a plot twist that I wasn't expecting. It wouldn't be such a big deal to me if it didn't feel like authors were writing their story and books around the tropes instead of including it organically in the story. Do you know what I mean? It's like they're writing an enemies to lovers book, and that's it. The characters could be anyone. You could insert yourself, you could insert your fucking worst enemy, and it would be enemies to lovers. The characters doesn't really matter. You just need to know that they're enemies to lovers. That's it. They're writing their characters around the fact that it is brother's best friend, or it is grumpy sunshine. Like, he's mean just because he's the grumpy part, and she's nice just because she's the sunshine part. That's all there is to them. To me, the tropes are supposed to be woven into the story, not the reason for it. It's supposed to add to the plot, not be the plot. Okay, the tropes aren't supposed to be the entire plot. They're a part of it, and they're a reason why the plot grows and adds depth to it, but it's not the plot. The plot of the story isn't the fact that she's dating her brother's best friend. That just happens to be a dynamic of their characters, but that's not the plot of the story. And yet I feel like these authors are making it the plot because they're just writing the tropes that everyone wants. And I'm kind of sick and tired of that. And you know, it's not even just romance books at this point. There are some fantasy books that I've seen that are marketed with their tropes, and I'm like, what are you talking about? That defeats the purpose of me reading this fantasy book. When I get marketed a book like that, it takes away the experience of me discovering what that book is about and sort of the joys that these tropes bring when I don't know about them. You know, when I'm reading a book and all of a sudden there's only one bed available, I'm like, oh my God. But if I knew that before then, that takes away the magic of it. I don't care. It's like, I already know that there's going to be one bed. So I already know what that tension's going to be. I'm not building up to anything because I already know what's going to happen. I know some people love it when tropes are used as marketing, because some people will use that as the reason to read it because they know there's going to be this trope and this trope and this trope. But for me, I just, it takes the experience away from organically discovering what happens in that book when I'm told what's going to happen. Why do I need to read it then? So yeah, the trope marketing, over it. I'm over it. This next hot take, I'm going to ruffle some feathers because it has to do with something that has come out recently. And my next bookish hot take is that not every single book needs a TV show or movie adaptation. Okay, not every single book does. Some books do, and some books can be done well, but most of the time, a lot of the adaptations that I have seen flopped. And yes, I'm looking at you, people we meet on vacation. Was that movie good? No, girl. No, girl. To me, personally, what was that? What was that? Did not need to happen. The writing was so awful in that. So bad. The dialogue, awful. There were moments that felt like they focused way too long on, and moments that they didn't focus enough on. It's hard to get that sort of tension that you get in the books and translate that onto a screen, because there are so many inner thoughts that are going on in the characters' heads that you will not get on screen, because they're not narrating their thoughts on screen the way that they are in a book. I honestly think that the movie industry and Hollywood are completely out of original ideas. I want to say that in the last few years, there have only been maybe a handful of movies that I've watched that have been their own original material, original source, that wasn't a sequel from something that's already been out, an adaptation of something, or another reiteration of that universe, or a spin-off of something that already exists. And they are basically picking and choosing all of these books to be adapted into shows or movies. I don't think that the rights studios are getting the rights to those books. I don't think that the budget is budgeting for some of these projects, and I don't think the casting is casting the way that it needs to be. You know what I mean? And again, that's something personal for me, because, you know, I read the book, so like I know what to expect, but that's not what everyone else expects. And I know people loved that new Emily Henry movie that came out, but I'm also kind of tired of seeing adaptations for everything, you know, because to me, honestly, watching that movie, like, low-key did kind of ruin that book for me. And they better never, ever touch Book Lovers, because if they adapt Book Lovers and it's garbage, I can't even tell you guys what I'll do. Okay. And yeah, I just don't even want to watch the adaptations of these books. Like, I don't want to watch the shows. I don't want to watch the movies because I just know I'll be disappointed. I just don't think we need to be adapting every fucking book that comes across these producers' desks. I don't think we need to be doing that. Okay, the second to last bookish hot take that I have. I think that authors need to kill off their characters more often. Yeah, I said it. I don't need it to be in a way that's just for shock value. It's more in a way that it makes sense that naturally characters die, even main characters, you know? And it's okay. Like that is the cycle of life. When you have like a main character that is, you know, off saving the world and doing what the fuck ever, they have a huge target on their back, babe, and everyone's gonna do whatever they can to kill them. And guess what? They're not making it out of most of those scenarios. And then when authors do kill them off, and all of a sudden, nope, no, they didn't. They're not actually dead. Don't piss me off. Don't do it. No. I cannot stand that, okay? And I get that authors have very emotional ties to their characters, but them surviving through every single fucking thing and hardly coming out with a scrape on them, hardly a bruise, that's just not realistic to me. That's my bookish hot take. I need more main characters to die. That sounds awful, but like I'm serious. Like it's just getting ridiculous. The resurrection trope, or what is it, like the fake death trope. Sick of it. I'm sick of it. Either kill these characters off or use a different plot device, okay? You could use any other plot device except that. Okay, my last bookish hot take that I'm going to talk about today is that I used to hate real people on covers, but now I love them. And I actually prefer real people on covers than the generic text and colorful background or the cartoon people on it, because to me, all the books that have like texts and the cartoon covers, they all look the same to me. They all look like the same book to me. I cannot tell the difference between any of them. Nothing looks original. The covers with regular people on them are so far and few between now because people have hated that for so long that now, you know, publishers and cover artists are leaning more towards either simple text or cartoon, more graphic type of drawings of people rather than real people on covers. And so now when I see a cover with real people on, I'm like, oh my God, I love it. But it's hard to tell some of these books apart because their covers all look the same. Yeah, and I never thought I would say that because I used to hate real people on covers. It used to be very cringe to me. But now I kind of want more of it. Now I kind of miss it. Now I appreciate the real people on covers. Bring back cover models. All right, those are all my bookish hot takes. I hope you guys had fun listening to me vent and listening to me talk about some controversial opinions. Let me know if you guys have any bookish hot takes that might be the same, or if you have ones that you just want to get off your chest. This was so fun to do, and I definitely will probably film another one of these later down the road once I have more bookish hot takes. But I had the best time filming this. It was so fun to talk about all of these hot takes that I have. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.